Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and as well as giving the salutations thereof towards the Akim that's forwarding this truth worldwide. And shalom to the brothers and the sisters as well that support we say what we do and heed continually, which is most important. And it's your brother Laban once again with another video. And in this video I want to be going over something that I found on Google, but Google took it back and took level 3 terrorists out of it. And then you had this fact checker outlet, as usually as you do, you have these fact checker outlets that try to clean up things and reiterate and spin the point around so that people don't take things the wrong way, which really it's the right way to take it, as this is a very telling message in saying that those that have a different political view or religious view, whatever it is, that goes against the narratives of the powers that be, which are JOOS's small hatters, which are being exposed. If you speak up against these things, then there's different various ways we can penalize you. All right. And David Icke, right along with Alex Jones, these are figureheads that have been given a great platform for a wider audience to attract. And now they're being penalized for it. And now being shown off towards the public, like I just said, that if you speak out, if any individual in the public speaks out and has a different view on that, this is the recompensation here. You know, you could be considered a terrorist, which is to dispel fear. So without further ado, let's get into it. And I found this article through Twitter, basically, you know, with this written here, because they took this out of the articles on Google, pretty much, you know. But anyway, let's get into it. David Icke banned from the EU and designated as a level 3 terrorist. The public speaker and former BBC television host was scheduled to attend an event this weekend in Amsterdam, but he will apparently be barred from visiting any country in the European Union for a period of 2 years. Received an email from the Dutch. Gareth Icke tweeted his son, "My dad, David Icke, has been banned from visiting the EU for 2 years, and they claim he is a level 3 terrorist," he added. So once again, if you notice, Alex Jones in many different articles saying that he has to pay this ridiculous amount of money because he uncovered certain truths according to the Sandy Hook situation that occurred. And you know, they're coming down on these guys, man, these insiders, because David Icke, as I believe, and as well as Alex Jones, they're insiders, man. All right, which are controlled opposition. You know, they're posed as oppositions, but they're really not. You know, they're double agents, and they're there to say what they gotta say to gravitate the minds of many, which have a particular way of thinking about things and different views. Okay. And because all of these people that have been given a platform to gain a wider audience, and now all of a sudden they're being shown to be penalized for it. Again, it's just dispelling fear that they don't want people to speak their minds on views as the way they see things, which is outside of the narratives given. And this is going to lead to the internet being censored. Okay. Amos 8 verse 11, "Behold, the days come, save the Lord power, that I will send the famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." And this is what it's going to get down to. So, you know, when you see us go live and do our weekly lessons that we do, it's going to come a time and a place, man, where that's not going to be done anymore. And it's right around the corner. And the Heavenly Father is going to allow things to happen through other men for this prophecy to be an activation. This is what they're going to do. They're going to put an end to the internet. And what I mean by put an end to it, they're going to get more control of the internet. people are not going to have as much freedoms and rights in expressing themselves on the internet anymore. And it's pretty much looking like we're already at this point. So sometime or another, maybe months down the line, they may even come up with something's going to give to where, I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but something's going to give to where they're going to be able to make that move and getting control over the internet and clamping down on the freedoms and the rights of many that have opposing views of narratives that the powers that be dispel to the public. And this will include us being prohibited from speaking the words of the Lord, because ultimately the bottom line of the matter is, the truth be told, is the fact that the powers that be are afraid of our words, and they're afraid of us, to be exact, because of what we represent and what we stand for. So because of that, they're going to clamp down on the internet and many of the truths that's affecting them right now. It's like, this is why a lot of the times, brothers, when you do your videos are being suppressed, because powerful people that control this internet are afraid of what we're saying. Because in the back of their mind, it's like, well, what if what these guys are saying is true? And it is the truth that these guys are the Israelites, which is what we've always known, but we've kept that hidden for us to only know, and have not told these people through these different school systems whom they control. Okay. And I have to read this. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. And when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And this is the thing. They're afraid and they're fearful of us, even though we don't have nothing to possess. We don't have no power like they do, but they're afraid of us. Why? Because in the back of their mind, it's like, well, how in the world did these people ever find out that they were the Israelites? We never taught them this in our school systems. We haven't even showed them this, a glimpse of this, even through our media. So how in the world did these people get access to knowing who they are? Because it's by divine intervention. And it's just showing that the power of Israel, as they've always known, that the Creator was always by our side. And now he's come to intervene by showing us his knowledge, as it is written, that the Most High doeth nothing but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. And he has a power that revealeth dark hidden secrets. That's in the book of Daniel's, the 2nd chapter. Our pure minds have been stirred back by way of remembrance of the things that we've lost in terms of this knowledge is concerned. And they see this, spewing out this knowledge that we've once lost, that they've always known. And that's what's scary about it, because this shows to them that the Most High is backing us now. That's the fear. Revelations 5. And we're going to get to the point on this. Let me see if I can find. I think it's in verse 6. I'll start from the first verse. Revelations 5 verse 1. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed of the 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven nor on earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, and neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, the angels, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book thereof. To open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. So the reason why we have this truth now, because the divine power, which is Yahweh Shai in this case, which he has power over all things, and the heavenly Father has exalted his name above all things, according to the book of Philippians chapter 2, and I believe it's verse 10. It is him that is giving us this knowledge and this understanding. And that's what they fear the most. That's what I wanted to say early. They fear, because it's not that they fear us per se. Ultimately, who they really fear is the Most High, Yahweh Baal Shai, a power that they've disregarded. All right. A power that was never ever thought to act when the afflictions of Zion were being put into effect, not knowing that the Most High set them up for the okie doke at the very end. Because prophecy had to be fulfilled that this beast would have to be restored and to be loose for its little season. All right. Yeah, so going back to Revelations 11:11. I'm going to read this again. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And the 3.5 days represent from 1619 or 20 to 1970, because between those time periods, we was dead to the knowledge and the understanding of life, which is what we have. And it's through that book being opened by the Messiah, and there the spirit of life came out of that book and entered into us. And again, this is where the fear comes from. As it reads, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Because it's not just one person or 3 individuals standing on their feet. There's thousands of us taking a stand for righteousness now and standing up for our power. And it's the people whom were considered to be inconsiderate, never to amount to anything, never to get up to any form of excellence, but are now showing that that is the case. And it's the Israelites that they're looking at. So there you go. So because of that fear that they have, they're going to have to clamp down on the internet. And really, the internet is what really did a lot of work for us, because we didn't have to, many of us didn't have to travel from place to place to teach people this knowledge and this understanding, like how the Apostle Paul did, and as well as Yahushua and the disciples did. All we had to do is just get a camera, get some equipment to record ourselves, and this truth just goes out like it does. And I have to read this. This is Psalms 19 and verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament show of his handiwork. Day unto day utter speech, and night unto night show of knowledge. And there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. And their line has gone out through all of the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And them have set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuits unto the end of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Which is referring to the internet, to be exact, the satellite dish, which gathers radiation from the heavens, and that radiation goes towards your cable, or your signal cable, and then you have your amplifier to that, which goes to your internet cable, Salakia, and then your computer records all of that all together, and that's how you get your internet. So being that you have these powers that are in control of the internet too, which are JOOSs as well, like I've said and I'll say it again, they're gonna put a clamping on the internet for the sake of control of what people can and cannot spew out in terms of information is concerned, because they have a narrative that they have to dispel, and people have different narratives which goes against these narratives, and they want to that's what it all boils down to. They want to control the narrative. The narrative that people are dispelling is out of control. It's not in line with what they're saying. So sometime or another, they're going to have to come down upon those that have different views, in the sense of putting an end to the whole idea of freedom of expression, which goes against the idea of having a democracy. All right. So that's what Esau is going to do. This is what we expect them to do. It's prophecy. All of the scriptures that I've read, all of the precepts that I've read to you, this is what they're going to do. All right. We're not surprised about this. We're not scared about this. It's expected.